Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Hiya Toys Exquisite Mini G.I.Joe Major Bludd Gung-Ho and a repaint Tiger Force version of Flint. And these are 4-inch scale, styled like the early days of Classified, but improved in many ways. And I will tell you the drawbacks, mostly because of the scale and the size, but pretty good little figures overall. I did get these at Gundam It, which is basically Shozi's store. Remember to put the TH in the support your reviewer box. Helps the channel out and helps me spread out into some stuff like this. I took the chance on these and I kind of like them, but we'll get in and take a look at this. I'll tell you the pluses, minuses, the good, the bad, what I do like, what I don't like. All of that and more coming up. Alright, so here they are in the packaging, and I have to say that it looks like the other one, semi-retro and vintage, but still its own different take, its own different modern flair on it, but I can get with it. And the back's no file card or any of that kind of stuff, just kind of pictures going on right there. I do want to point one thing out though. Shozi Gundam It puts stickers on them, part of how they keep track of their inventory, but hit it with a hair dryer for 30 seconds. They'll peel right off without leaving any damage to the card. Alright, let's start off with Gung-Ho here, and looking at him, he does look really good. He is probably my top 5 or top 7 of Joe characters of all time. I think he does look pretty good. This is very, very sort of classic looking, but still having a modern flair, and they've done some different stuff with them. And I'm okay with that. I like that. Here he is from the side. Now we do have, like a lot of people say, this is kind of like the early days of Classified, but the little shin pads there, not a huge fan of those, but it's not a huge turnoff. It does still look pretty classic overall. Let me pop this backpack off. Tons of paints that you're not going to see if you have his backpack on. And his backpack is a more realistic color. Would I have liked it the classic? Yeah, I would always want stuff to look classic. But it's also realistic with this coloring, so I'm okay with it. You can store the weapons on his backpack. There's weapon storage for all the weapons on the backpack, if that's a thing that you want to do, and that really is a thing I want to do. It's very nice. Also, I'm not sure if I can get this up without knocking stuff off, but looks like they got, I think they got the tattoo right. Not 100% sure. I guess we'll find out when we do comparisons to the vintage figure, but yeah, it looks really good overall. But zooming in here on the face, he's got a really mean mug going on there, and he's got, it's a non-removable hat, which is fine. I like that. I don't want to lose that hat there. And the vest is kind of rubbery, and it's a separate overlay of a vest. He's got this kind of silver shoulder pad thing going on there. So some of that nod to the old game that they were basing the original Classified line on back in the day, but also keeping it true with the camo pants. And then we've got some missiles for, no, those are just grenades, straight up grenades, and more grenades up here. So I think this guy's got a lot of grenades. Heavy grenader. Did I mention he comes with a stand? It's a pretty good stand, but you know, he doesn't stick to it super hard, but probably not hard enough for me to do what I was doing there. But yeah, overall I like it. He does have this thing on his forearm, another sort of guard shield on his forearm there, and yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's get into some quick articulation with this guy though. And I will say that the hands, I always feel like the hands are a bit on the fiddly side, so I'm going to be careful with that. But head side to side, up and down on the ball joint there that popped off, and then shoulders go probably about that far. Then of course you get the 360 all the way around, bicep swivel. Is it not double jointed, but he has an overlay of a strap here to hold his, whatever that is on the side here on, and so goes to about there. You can probably flex further. I don't want to. Then the hands on a ball joint, and that's that. But I feel like the hands are fiddly. You do have some articulation right here in this range. Hard to get it to work the way you want it to. And then you've got the waist, so you can go back a bit more because of that midpoint. So something you don't see so much in this scale, but you do see it sometimes. And then forward on the leg, that far to the back. It's got up and drop down hips. So you can go up to there. Thigh swivel. Knee, it's a nice, real convincing knee there. About to there, not double jointed. And then foot, everything you kind of want to need in the foot, nice and tight. Gets the job done. Looking at the rest of his accessories, he does come with 2 trigger finger hands. I don't think I'm going to use those. I probably should swap it out, but nah, I'm not really going to mess with that. Here is one of his guns, kind of a shotgun. Maybe I should have him holding this one instead. And then here is kind of like a... This is a grenade launch. So this is more similar in a way, but not really to his classic weapon, kind of a grenade launcher. I kind of thought this one was the closest to his vintage weapon, but none of them really match his vintage weapon 100%. So maybe I'll just have him holding this one because I do think that looks pretty cool. Alright, so here's a comparison to the original vintage, and well, that's the tattoo. That's different, so I guess it doesn't match the tattoo. I guess I didn't get it right, but whatever. It's not correct, I guess, but there it is. And anyway, looking at stylization, I do just really like the color scheme of the original one because, of course, that's what I had as a kid back in the day. And he keeps falling on that, but here is kind of a different coloration. I like it. I like the new one too. Think it looks nice. I think it's a very solid representation of the character. Still kind of have some blues in there. You still kind of represent. It works for me. Nice solid update. And the fact that we've got the vintage one, and of course we've got some very good retro ones from the 4-inch scale from the past. We also have some in the classified and of course Super 7 Ultimates. So it takes care of the retro too. This is its own thing and it works. Next up, we're going to take on Tiger Force Flint here, and the thing is that I'm going to do it a little bit different than I did with the Gung-Ho. We're doing several different figures, several different characters. We're going to do a build of Flint here. Now, I will say that he does have this cover piece on him, which I wonder if you'd be able to remove that. Let's see, is it attached to the belt and everything? So you have the whole belt and all that attached. So you could cut it, I guess, to remove it. I'm sure there's ways to remove it if you wanted that gone and you just wanted the look. But I'm going to keep mine intact the way it is, but this whole thing is removable. Let's look at his face. And he looks much different. It looks a lot older, a lot more tough, rugged than we've seen in the past. And the tiger print is different. We'll see that when we do comparisons. It's a much brighter orange than kind of the brown that we saw in the vintage line. And then he does have this gun here. Is it removable? I think it's removable, but yeah, it is. But it's in there tight. It's tight. So if they come with the gun packed in it like that, there's this gun. Focus. It's hard to focus when there's so much going on. I guess that's true in the real world too. It's hard to focus when so much is going on. There it is. Brown pants. He's got a knife, dagger down here. I've had a lot of trouble getting the daggers out. Ooh, that one didn't have trouble getting that one out. So that's actually nice touches that they put in there. That you've got those already packed in. We've seen that in the past too, though. And yeah, looking pretty good overall. Now, I wanted to point out a couple things too. Like I say, do a little bit different with build Flint here. Number one, he will stand on his own. And you don't have to have the stand. I still prefer the stand, so let's clip him in here. And it is helpful. Now, again, the stand isn't the greatest, but it gets the job done. He does come with this shotgun, which I will be displaying him with the standard traditional shotgun, and I like that. And then, of course, you want to get him in his nice little pose. Maybe he's holding his shotgun, kind of like we did with good old Gung-Ho over there. Now, we have another shotgun. This is more of a the classified, the video game kind of style, the Nerf gun style shotgun, and he's got his holster. I believe you can holster either shotgun in it if you want to. It has a little spot at the end. I guess the tip would go in there. I'm going to put this on him because I'm not going to display it. And then we're just going to come around here to the back and find the hole in the overlay and then the hole in the back and then plug it in, and let's time-lapse that. Next up, we got this beret. We're going to put his beret on him, and it fits on nice. It's a nice soft rubbery beret. Orange, looks good, matches his shirt. And there he is. Now, I feel like this is more Tiger Force-y than what we got in the vintage line. We're going to do that comparison in just a bit. We have two more hands, which neither one are trigger hands. Neither one. I guess because the shotgun, you don't need a trigger hand. They're almost identical to the other hands. So these are just opened wider. Those are, I think just, can barely even see it, but I don't think they're actual fists. I think they both open. They're just open tighter. Hard to see that. Anyway. Yeah, overall looking good. Now I guess we can move on to the next one. No, we can't move on until we do comparisons. And this is what I've been talking about this whole time, how it looks different than the vintage one. The vintage one is very brown. This is very orange. More of a kind of a brighter green. He is very back heavy too. Yep. But yeah, looking pretty decent overall. And the original one came with a backpack instead of a sheath for an extra weapon, which this is more functional, makes more sense. I'm okay with it. I don't need it to be exactly the same. I didn't expect that in this line either. I knew what I was getting into, and I kind of rather like the way it looks. I'm not a fan of the vest, though. Just not a fan of the vest, really. And here's the first version of Flint in comparison. Also, if you want that comparison, you could see. I'm guessing we didn't get that shotgun with the first one. And I'm not seeing the knife sheath over here. So I think we got more stuff with this guy. Am I right? Alright, next up we've got Major Bludd. And this is a straight up, almost straight knockoff or remake in a smaller scale of the classified version. Obviously there's some differences. They took some different approaches to a few different things, but still overall it's very aesthetically similar to what we got with them. Let's see, down to even getting removable missiles in the backpack, which is, I don't want to say it's great. In all reality, that could be scary, but I think they did it better than how Classified did it. But there's the backpack. Let's try to put it on. I've been kind of doing a lot of this stuff off camera because it's fiddly. He doesn't have really his overlay. If it is an overlay, it's not doing. It's on there tight. It's on there real tight. But he does look pretty good. Let's go ahead and knock these accessories out, and then we can get to looking at him because he doesn't have a whole lot. But he does have the missile launcher, which is nice. I don't really want the missile to attach to it. I guess it does, though. It's got like a pin here, which I guess you would attach the missile. Oh, no, I don't want to go through that again, but I don't know. You would attach something to it. It's also got this ginormous gun here, which is kind of cool. Kind of hard to see. I handle everything with my fingers in the way. And it sheathes just perfectly into this, and I'm believing, just my belief, I haven't tried it yet, that you can put the other gun in here also, if you wanted to, but most people are going to just have this gun displayed because it's the classic missile launcher gun. Plus, of course, he comes with the trigger hand I have on there, another trigger hand for if you want to make him a lefty, and then this one here is just the hand, get them out of the way. They are different colors, though, so you've got this one because it's the armored hand. Now, I always thought it was like a mechanical arm, but I've come to find out it's just armor over it to handle the back firing from a missile. When the missile launches, the heat's not going to melt his arm off, is what I'm hearing is why he had that. So I learned something every day, even on something that I've been looking at for 40 years. But yeah, looking pretty decent. Take a little closer look at this guy, but we are not going to be doing the articulation because it's all the same. They're all the same. I just did one. Helmet is removable. Oh, gosh, it looks so much like the classified one. I'm not going to lie. And he's got a lot of damage. All these dudes have been through some battles. I mean, they were not getting shot by lasers that missed them. They were getting hit by real stuff. Real frags there, right? Getting fragged. But the color tone looks pretty good. I like the way it looks. I like the silver on him. I remember the original one has a black arm. We'll see that here in a little bit. But it doesn't make as much sense as a silver one. Makes a lot more sense. He's got some silver knee pads. He's got some shin guards. He's got the pulse. Is it a pauldron? Is it a pauldron if it's just like a forearm guard? Not really. Okay, no, it's not. Gauntlets. I'm thinking of gauntlet. That's not a gauntlet either. Anyway, I think he looks pretty tough, pretty mean. Lots of paint apps all over him. A necklace. Is the necklace separate too? Does it? Yeah, his necklace is separate too, just like a mini classified version of this guy overall. Looking pretty good. Let's see. How do you think he stacks up to the vintage one? Oh, he's taller. Oh. Well, that makes sense. He's taller. Here he is looking pretty good next to the vintage one. Vintage one is such a classic figure. And I got mine, I think, as a Melloway. And I had so much fun with it as a kid. I thought it was just a really special figure because he was Melloway. I always thought everything that came in the mail was more special than what you found at the store for some reason. I don't know why. And then the similarities in the backpacks, they're similar yet different. But, I mean, you've got the missiles that are in there that didn't pop out. For all the years you wish those missiles would pop out and you can grab them out of there, now you can. I don't know if it's something... it's so fiddly. This is solid. But I feel like the classified one is fiddly. So I always feel like that might be a bad idea going forward. Even though they executed it way better than Hasbro did with the classified line. Alright, so this is my look at Hiya Toys. They call it the Exquisite Mini G.I.Joe with Gung-Ho, Tire Force Flint, and Major Bludd. And I think they're great figures. Are they nailing the vintage? No. Are they exactly like what Classified was putting out? Well, they're kind of close. But are they better? I think that these are better than what Classified was doing aesthetically. Some of the drawbacks in them is because they're still trying to do everything accessory-wise in a 4-inch scale that doesn't always work as well, like with the backpacks plugging in and then the small guns plugging into the backpacks. But still, it's great that it works. In fact, with Major Bludd, actually the missiles work better, which is odd, really odd. Usually when you shrink down a feature, they put in a 6-inch figure down to the 4-inch scale. It doesn't work as well. But anyway, I did get these at Gundamit.com. I'm going to have a link down below where you can get yours before they sell out. 60% of these figures have sold out at Gundamit, but I'll have a link down below. Let me know what you think in the comments below. TH in the reviewer code, like, subscribe. Tell your hanger out.